Alright, Babber.
Hello folks, welcome back to Planescape Torment, where I believe we now have a key and we can get out of this place. And it looks like there's a couple of gates we can go through. So let's have a look here. We've lost an item, so that would have been the key that we've used. Alright. Hello. Psst. Some advice, Chief. This is Morty. Psst. Some advice, Chief. I'd keep it quiet from here on. No need to put any more corpses in the dead book than necessary, especially the Fems. Plus, killing them might draw the caretakers here. I don't think you mentioned it before. Who are these caretakers? They call themselves the Dustmen. You can't miss them. They have an obsession with black and rigor mortis of the face. They're an adult bunch of ghoulish death worshippers. They believe everybody should die. The sooner better than later. I'm confused. Why do these Dustmen care if I escape? Well, weren't you listening? I said the Dusties believe everybody's gotta die, sooner better than later. You think the corpses you've seen are happier in the dead book than out of it? The corpses I've seen here, where did they all come from? Death visits the plains every day, Chief. These shamblers are all that's left of the poor sods who sold their bodies to the caretakers after death. And before you said something about making sure I didn't kill any female corpses. Well, what, are you serious? Look, Chief, these dead chits are the last chance for a couple of hardy bashers like us. We need to be chivalrous. No hacking them up for keys, no lopping their limbs off, things like that. And last chance? What are you talking about? Chief, they're dead, we're dead. See where I'm going? Huh? You can't be serious. Chief, we already got an opening line with these limping ladies. We've all died at least once. We'll have something to talk about. They'll appreciate men with our kind of death experience. Morty, you're a perv. Don't get me wrong, I'm a perv. I have no issue with being a perv. Wait, didn't you say before that I'm not dead? Well, alright, you might not be dead, but I am. And from where I'm standing, floating, I wouldn't mind sharing a coffin with some of these fine, sinewy cadavers I see here. Morty starts clacking his teeth as if in anticipation. Of course, the caretakers would have to part with them first, and that's not likely. Alright, I'll try and remember that. Look, Chief, it's obvious you're still a little addled after your kiss with death. So I got two bits of advice for you. One, if you got questions, ask me, alright? To speak to a party member, select the talk option from the quick menu. Alright, if I have any questions, I'll ask you. Second, if you're half as forgetful as you seem to be, start writing stuff down. Whenever you come across something that might be important, jot it down so you don't forget. If I had that journal I was supposed to have with me, I'll do that. Start a new one then, Chief. No loss. There's plenty of parchment and ink around here to last you. Alright, couldn't hurt. I'll make a new one. Use it to keep track of your movements. If you ever start to get cloudy on important things like who you are, or more importantly who I am, use it to refresh your memory. Okay. Alright, got it.
Updated my journal.
Updated my journal. Journal. Whoa, I'm not scrolling. Journal's gone missing, so I started a new one. I woke up in a place called the mortuary. I don't know who I am, what I'm doing here, or even how I got here. The only person I encountered was a chattering skull called Morty. While he was checking my wounds, he discovered a set of directions tattooed on my back. I know you feel like you've been drinking a few blah 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 blah. We read all that last time. I'm gonna forget that later on, but luckily it's in my journal. So all good. Right. Now, what have you got to say for yourself? Zombie worker. The shambling corpse gazes at you with vacant eyes. Her skin is paper thin, almost wispy. It's like someone draped a sheet of cobwebs across her frame. The number 594 has been scratched onto her forehead. So doing anything later? Farewell then. Oh, I've lost my mouse. There we go. Right. Psst. You see the way she was looking at me? Huh? You see that? The way she was following the curve of my occipital bone? My optical bone. You mean that blank-eyed beyond the grave stare? Well, what, are you blind? She was scouting me out. It was shameless the way she wanted me. Wanted you to go away, maybe. I think you're imagining things. I think you and your imagination need some time away from each other. Alright, now let's pause. What about you? Zombie worker. Nasty wound you got there. 626. The left side of this woman's face looks as if it were caved in with a club, and her flesh sags in bruised, swollen clumps over her ruined skull. I think there's something on my mouse mat. Get off. Let's give it a quick rub down. Right, let's see if the mouse works. The number 626 has been stitched onto the corpse's right cheek, just below the eye. Nasty wound you got there. Farewell.
I so want to lie in her coffin.
Oh, Morty, 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 you naughty, naughty, naughty. Bloodstains, rust and other remains cover the surface of this metal slab. It is much larger than most of the other slabs and is sitting on a platform that allows it to be rotated. Okay. Let's have a look round here. This is just a dead end by the looks of it. Oh, we got another zombie worker. Have you got anything to say? This corpse is lumbering along a triangular path. Once it reaches one of the corners of the triangle, it pauses, then turns and staggers towards the next corner. It has 965 tattooed on the side of its skull. As you approach, it halts and stares at you. Heh, looks like someone forgot to tell the soul to stop walking the rule of 3. What do you mean? These corpses don't have much left in the attic, so they can't do more than one task at a time. When they're told to do something, they'll keep doing it until someone tells them to stop. This poor sod probably finished some task and they forgot to tell him. Okay. So who gives them their commands? Either one of the caretakers here, or else whatever necromancer raised them out of the dead book. Probably one of the caretakers here. They're the ones who need the cheap labour after all. And what's the rule of 3?
Updated my journal.
Well, the rule of 3 is one of those laws about the planes, about things tending to happen in threes, or everything's composed of 3 parts, or there's always 3 choices, and so on and so forth. You don't sound like you hold much faith in it. It's a load of wash if you ask me. If you look for a number, any number, and try to attach some great meaning to it, you're going to find plenty of coincidences. Okay. Who gives these orders? I wanted to examine this zombie a bit more. The corpse is lumbering along a triangular path, blah blah blah. Why are you walking in a triangle? Leave it in peace. Okay. Not a lot going on there. Now, the other set of doors, those were here. I assume I can't unlock
Locked.
these doors. Yeah, okay, fair
Alright.
enough. So if I'd have opened them, it would have led out to the same place anyway. So,
Alright.
let's have
I'm
a look
gone.
here. What do we have here? Another zombie worker. This corpse is shuffling from slab to slab, bandaging the corpses lying there. The number 396 is carved into his left temple. The rule of 3, 3 threes, 2 threes, 1 3. And his lips are stitched closed. You notice the corpse is carrying a roll of bandages in its hand. The bandages look usable. Mind if I borrow those bandages? The corpse continues to stare at you. Try and take the bandages. You snake your hand out and take the roll of bandages from the corpse's hand. The corpse doesn't even seem to notice. It continues going through the motions of bandaging the bodies. Let's examine again, see if we can do something with its teeth. The corpse is shuffling from slab to slab, yeah. And its lips are stitched closed. Sorry about taking those bandages. It stares at me. Alright, we'll leave you in peace. Roar. At least they're not zombiloids. What we got over here? Receiving room logbook. Okay. Inventory. Inventory. Receiving room logbook. This, where's the scrolly thing? Right, it's there. This huge logbook lists mortuary procedures in a tight, crabled. What? That's not a word. So in a tight script, I don't know what that says. All shells entering the mortuary, I'm assuming the shell is a name for corpse, are to be delivered to the receiving room and logged with the scribe on duty before being embalmed or cremated or created. Ah, look, we can scroll through our stuff. Alright, back to it. The records are to be checked to determine if the shell is one of the if the shell is one of the contracted. And if so, do not prepare the shell. Move the shell to one of the preparation rooms. People try to prepare us down. Contact the scribe on duty and notify him that a contracted shell is to be raised. Be certain that a shell is thoroughly stripped of its possessions before being sent to the preparation rooms. The contracted workers are intended for simple manual labour and do not have the capacity to search and strip a shell. The faction is not responsible for any possessions lost or items stolen by collectors who have brought the shells to the mortuary. The shell's possessions are to be stored in the receiving room until an initiate can be sent to claim them. Please catalogue all possessions in the logbook. Following this list is thousands of entries of bodies that have been sent to the receiving room. As you flip through the rest of the book, however, you notice the last page has been cut out. Oh, the last page has been cut out, has it?
All right.
Okay. What have we got here? Copper commons. Money! Our first bit of money. Fist irons. Oh, I take it those are basically knuckle dusters. Okay. Fair enough. We'll have them. And there's something around here. Oh, hello. Hello. Who are you, sir? Morty, Powers Above. That's one hell of a book. Yes, it's a bit big. What is it? If I were to guess, I'd say that's the book where they scratch the name of every poor sod that's unfortunate enough to get dumped off here. Could my name be in there? Well, I guess. To find out, you'll need to rattle your bone box with that floating Dusty over there. Not sure that's a good idea. Well, I need answers. I'm going to speak with him. Well, I'm not going to speak with him yet. You are 1096. The female corpse is making around from slab to slab. Her hair is knotted into a long braid and looped around her neck like a noose. I like that all the corpses, all the zombies, all have their own little descriptions. Nothing sort of repeated loads of times. Someone has stenciled the numbers 1096 onto her forehead and her lips have been stitched closed. Nice braid. Farewell.
Hello, my sweet cadaverous beauty.
Oh, Morty, you dirty scully skull. Right. You're 396. I'll leave you in peace. What about you? The number 1201. I bet all these numbers mean something. But as Morty said, you look for meanings and you'll find them in anything. Coincidences. The number 1201 has been inked on the forehead of this corpse, and the ink has run down its eyes, cheeks, and jaw. As you follow the ink tears down the corpse's face, you notice it has run into the stitching sealing the corpse's lips and has caught on what looks like the corner of a note stuck in the corpse's mouth. Let's try and pull the note out. The note has mingled with the ichor in the zombie's mouth. If you tried to pull the paper out through the cross stitches, it would tear the paper to shreds. Hacking up the course to get at it looks like it will destroy the note. You'll need to find a delicate way to remove the stitches before removing the note. We'll use the scalpel. Hey, look at us with our experience gaining. You deftly slice through the stitches, scaling the corpse's mouth, sealing the corpse's mouth, corpses, and the jaw sags open. You carefully pull the note from the corpse's mouth. Despite the condition of the paper, the writing on it still appears legible. To read notes, books or scrolls, place them in your inventory, then right click on them to bring up their information panel. Alright. Sorry about slicing those stitches. Okay, bye bye. What note did we get? This is a foul-smelling note retrieved from the mouth of one of the mortuary zombies. It looks like it was sewn into the corpse's mouth by accident. Despite its condition, the writing is legible. Please, to whatever dustman reads this, I beg of you, I know of my legal obligation under the terms of the dead contract, but I am prepared to offer more than my signing fee if you will cremate my body rather than raising it. I have arranged for this note to be... I like that raising is a capital letter. It's like a thing. I have arranged for this note to be left with my body upon my death. If you are reading this, then please use this note as instructed and accept the result in exchange for my contracted duty. Let my contract number serve as the key. Okay. 1201. Is that your contract number? It looks like the corpse was too late to prevent the raising, but you notice that beneath the writing is a diagram. It looks like directions for folding the parchment into a strange pattern. If you are ever capable of examining an object further or performing an action on the object outside of the world screen, a use button will appear for the object on the examine screen. And this button allows you to manipulate the item through a dialog screen. If you wish to examine the diagram on this note, select use. Okay. This foul-smelling note has a blah 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 blah. There's a series of strange marks on each corner. One mark in the upper right. One mark on the upper right. 2 on the lower right. 3 on the lower left. And no marks on the upper left. So we want to go upper left, upper right, lower right, lower left. So upper left, upper right, yes. So no more upper left, upper right, lower right, lower left. So lower right, lower left. Nothing happens. Alright, so let's do it starting at 1. Upper right, lower right, upper right, lower right, lower left, upper left, lower left, upper left. No? Okay. There's a series of strange marks on each corner. 1 mark on the upper right, 2 marks on the lower right, 3 marks on the lower left. No marks on the upper left. Upper left. Let's go back to the original one. Upper left, upper right. Lower right, lower left. Upper left, upper right, lower right, lower left. Let's leave it alone for a minute. No idea. Let's just leave it alone for a minute. Right, you were 1201, yeah? 1201, okay. Leave the corpse in peace. What about you? Rah! 1072. The smell of formaldehyde emanating from this corpse is particularly strong. It smells like it was applied recently, and with good reason. This corpse appears to be in an advanced stage of decay. Her jaw is missing and some of the flesh has slid off her skull, revealing the number 1072. I think you've seen better days. Does not respond.
What is this rotting vision I see before me?
Such a pervert. Such a pervert. Alright, what have we got over here? Couple of bandages. Oh, hang on. That's my inventory. Get off. So there's nothing there. You've been talked to. You haven't. What have you got to say for yourself? This walking corpse has the numbers 1094 carved into its forehead. Ah, those marks from that other one. Is it its number? Its mouth has been sewn tightly shut, and the chemical reek of fresh formaldehyde hangs in an overpowering cloud around it. Despite the pallid, sunken features and lifeless, milky eyes, it was clear this was once a handsome young man. What's going on? Nothing, mate. Right, let's find that other zombie with the stitchy mouth, with the note. 1096. No, not you. Not you.
Need an identify spell to know what she wants.
Oh, Morty, you dirty, dirty, dirty boy. 1201. 1201, so it's not. So 1201, but it's got marks 0123. Interesting. Don't know, but let's talk to Dhall. Or Dhall. This scribe looks very old. His skin is wrinkled and he has a slight trace of yellow, like old parchment. Charcoal grey eyes lie within an angular face, and a large white beard flows down the front of his robes like a waterfall. His breathing is ragged and irregular, but even his occasional coughing does not slow the scratching of his quill pen. Greetings! Whoa, Chief, what are you doing? I was going to speak with this scribe. You might know something about how I got here. Look, rattling your bone box with Dusty should be the last thing. Before Morty can finish his rant, the scribe begins coughing violently. After a moment or two, the coughing spell dies down, and the scribe's breathing resumes its ragged wheeze. And we especially shouldn't be swapping the chant with sick Dusties. Come on, let's leave. The quicker we give this place the laugh, the bet. Before Morty can finish, the scribe's grey eyes flicker to you. The weight of years hangs heavy upon me, restless one. He places down his quill, but I do not yet count deafness among my ailments. Restless one, do you know me? Know you? There is a trace of bitterness in the scribe's voice as he speaks. I have never known you, restless one. No more than you have known yourself. He is silent for a moment. For you have forgotten, have you not? Who are you? Who are you? As always, the question. And the wrong question, as always. He bows slightly, but the movement suddenly sends him into a bout of coughing. He pauses for a moment, catches his breath. I am Dhall. That question was but the first, Dhall. There is much I wish to know.
Updated my journal.
Very well. What did you wish to know? What is this place? You are in the mortuary, restless one. Again you have come. Before he can finish, Dhall breaks into a fit of coughing. After a moment he calms himself and his breathing resumes its ragged wheeze. This is the waiting room for those about to depart the shadow of this life. Tell me about the mortuary. This is where the dead of Sigil are brought to be interred or cremated. It is our responsibility as dustmen to care for the dead, and those who have left this shadow of life and walk the path to true death. Dhall's voice drops in concern. Your wounds must have extracted a heavy toll if you do not recognize this place. It is almost your home. My home? I want to ask about my home. Okay, alright, let's start at the top. The shadow of life. Yes, a shadow. You see, restless one, this life, it is not real. Your life, my life, they are shadows, flickerings of what life once was. This life is where we end up after we die. And here we remain, trapped, caged, until we can achieve the true death. True death? True death is non-existence. A state devoid of reason, of sensation, of passion. Dhall coughs and then gives a ragged breath. A state of purity. Sounds like oblivion. Why would anyone want that? Is it worse than remaining in this shadow of what life once was? I think not. Okay, I have other questions. How did I get here? Dhall snorts in contempt as if he finds the memory repugnant. Your mouldy chariot ferried you to the mortuary, Restless One. You would think you were royalty based on the number of loyal subjects that lay stinking and festering upon the cart that carried you.
Updated my journal.
I arrived on a cart? Yes, your body was somewhere in the middle of the heap, sharing its fluids with the rest of the mountain of corpses. Dhall breaks into another violent fit of coughing, finally catching his breath minutes later. Your seneschal, Farod, was, as always, pleased to accept a few mouldy coppers to dump the lot of you at the mortuary gate. Doesn't sound like you like Farod much. There are some I respect, Restless One. Dhall takes a ragged breath and steadies himself. Farod is not one of them. He wears his ill repute like a badge of honour and takes liberties with the possessions of the dead. He is a knight of the post, cross-trading filth of the lowest sort. Knight of the post? A knight of the post, Dhall coughs, a thief. All Farod brings to our walls comes stripped of a little less of their dignity than they possessed in life. Farod takes whatever he may pry from their stiffening fingers. Did he take anything from me? Dhall pauses, considering. Most likely. Are you missing anything, especially anything of value? His voice dips as he frowns. Not that Farod would take exception to anything that wasn't physically grafted to your body, and sometimes even that's not enough to give his greedy mind a pause. I am missing a journal. A journal? If it was of any value, then it is likely it lies in Farod's hands. And where can I find him? If events persist as they have, Restless One, you have a much greater chance of Farod finding you and bringing you to us again before you find whatever ooze puddle he wallows in this time. Nevertheless, I must find him. A slight warning creeps into Dhall's tone. Do not seek out Farod, Restless One. I am certain that it will simply come full circle again, with you none the wiser and Farod a few coppers richer. Accept death, Restless One. Do not perpetuate your circle of misery. I have to find him. Do you know where he is? Dhall is silent for a moment. When he finally speaks, he seems to do so reluctantly. I do not know under which gutter stone Farod lairs at the moment, but I imagine that he can be found somewhere beyond the mortuary's gates in the hive. Perhaps someone there will know where you can find him. All right, other questions? Tell me how to get out of here. The front gate is the most obvious exit, but they will not let anyone other than Dustman pass. Dhall breaks into a ragged cough, then continues. One of the guides by the front gate has a key to it, but it is unlikely he will open it for you unless you are extremely persuasive. Interesting. Do you know who I am?
My journal.
I know scant little of you, Restless One. I know little more of those that have journeyed with you and who now lie in our keeping. Dhall sighs. I ask that you no longer ask others to join with you, Restless One. Where you walk, so walks misery. Let your burden be your own. There are others who have journeyed with me, and they are here. Do you not know the woman's corpse interred in the memorial hall below? I had thought that she had travelled with you in the past. Dhall looks like he is about to start coughing again, then catches his breath. Am I mistaken? Where is her body? The Northwest Memorial Hall on the floor below us. Check the biers there. Her name should be on one of the memorial plaques. Mayhap that will revive your memory. Okay. I don't recall ever travelling with a woman. You said there were others. Who else is there? Doubtless there are, but I know not their names, nor where they lie. One such as you have left a path many have walked, and few have survived. Dhall gestures around you. All dead come here. Some must have travelled with you once. Okay. I find no fault with your reasoning. I had some other questions. What do you do here? I am a scribe, a cataloguer of all the shells that come to the mortuary. Dhall coughs again, then takes a deep breath. As long as the stream of corpses flows through the mortuary, I shall remain at my post. You say I've been here more than once. How do they not recognise me? I am the one that catalogues the shells that come to our halls, restless one. Dhall breaks into a fit of coughing, then steadies himself. Only I see the faces of those that lie upon our slabs. The dark of your existence lies safe with me. It seems I didn't want to do that, but never mind. As you turn to leave, Dhall spreads. Dhall speaks. Know this, I do not envy you, restless one. To be reborn as you would be a curse. To be reborn as you would be a curse that I could not bear. You must come to terms with it. At some point your path will return you here. Dhall coughs, the sound rattling in his throat. It is the way of all things flesh and bone. Well, there we go for the moment. And is that locked? This gate looks sealed shut. There is no lock or other means of opening it. What about this one? I take it that one will open.
I'm gone.
Yes, that one will open. Let's just close it for a minute. What we will do, folks, is call it there. So far, we've managed to clear 3 rooms. Woohoo! Yes, that's been a very ready... to be fair, most of these episodes are going to be heavy on the reading. This may take a while to get through. So, yeah, and I want to find out what this sheet of paper does as well. So I'm gonna get on the Google for that. So I've tried the 2 things I can think of. Unless there's a different way of doing it, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out later on. But, yeah, until next episode, folks, bye-bye for now.